Yeah, and this week I'm absolutely delighted that we have on the Sportzone show the new coach of Barrow Raiders Ladies Rugby League team, Amanda Wilkinson. How are you doing, Amanda?
I'm good, thanks.
Well, thanks for coming on, Amanda. And just to start off, would you like to just tell the listeners a little bit of a summary of how all this appointment came about?
Yeah, I was approached by the chair of Barrow. I had seen the advert for the role, but I've sort of had a little bit of a change in my career at the moment. Still in rugby league, but I moved across to University of Lancashire, which is a UPlan, to take up a high performance role. So moving away from professional sport environment for the first time in 20 years, but it allowed me to be in full-time employment. Getting paid to coach rugby league at a performance level. So it was a bit of a challenge for me, and I'm looking to go on to do my level 4 and stuff as well. So when the role came up, it excited me, but thought it's not really good timing for myself. But had a couple of meetings with the board and stuff, and just, you know, my heart's in it really. I think it's completely different to any of the other coaching roles I've done. Not to say that I've not been passionate about, you know, coaching in Leeds and Wigan, but to go back to my hometown and, you know, where I grew up and all the familiar faces and the people in the town and stuff, I got a different feeling about taking on the role. And I think it was a passion that sort of took me there, and decided to go for it.
Oh, well, that's fantastic, Amanda, and I'm sure everybody down at Craven Park are absolutely delighted that they've been able to get you in to coach the ladies team. Now, I did read that in the early days, Amanda, you did some athletics. What sort of athletics did you do? Yeah,
I used to star in the local paper quite a lot back in the day. I started at Hoad Harriers. I was a long distance runner, so I did anything from 400, 800, 15. I was known for holding a record as well for running the mile. That was another event I used to do on a yearly basis, and a lot of road running. So I did 10Ks as well, and cross country. So, you know, I did national stuff for cross country as well. So yeah, really, really enjoyed it. That was my sort of love for sport.
So you were from Barrow, or you are from Barrow, but you live in Ulverston now, is that right?
No, I was born in Barrow.
Right.
I schooled in Ulverston, as we said, as I think I've said in previous interviews. We moved to Leeds in 2000. Oh, right. So I lived over in Leeds for around 6 to 8 years, I think. And then we moved across to Wigan, and we live in a little village called Eccleston, just near Charnock Richard. So I currently live there. So working in Preston, in the university in Preston. But all my family and everything's in Ulverston and Barrow.
All right. So how did you get into rugby league then?
I think I got into rugby really through my husband, Stuart. Met with him and he played the sport and started his coaching career once when we were together. And I don't know, I was just fascinated by the sport, the contacts and stuff, and the elements that sort of needed to play it. And then my 2 young boys, when we moved across to Leeds, one of them was struggling to get into a team because they didn't have his age group at the time. And then I started looking after those that couldn't get into the team, and then decided to do my badge and went from there, and just really, really enjoyed everything that it had to offer.
Right, okay. So did you actually play, Amanda?
I did. I played for a couple of seasons for Barrow Ladies when I think I was in my mid-20s at the time. Like I say, met Stuart, had my children and everything, and, you know, I was an athlete, but just thought to myself, I fancy having a go at that, and did a couple of seasons, went to like the GB trials and stuff like that, but I enjoyed it. But I think I enjoyed coaching it a lot more than I did playing it. I probably just liked the physical side of it, I think, really more than anything. But yeah, we enjoyed it. I think we won the league. Nothing to do with me being present in the team, but we won the league. It was Barrow Ladies and Wakefield at the time that were the top teams in that day. and which we'll be playing those this year as well. Wakefield are in our Super League sort of group this year. So, yeah, enjoyed it.
So, sorry, did you say Barrow Ladies back then, Amanda?
Yeah, it was Barrow. Yeah, it was called Barrow Ladies. Yeah, so it was back then there was the Kitchen Sisters and Sally Milburn and people.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, there were some great players, absolutely great players. I went and they put me on the wing because, like, being an athlete, could run with the ball and stuff. But then, because I really enjoyed the physical contact side of it, I ended up in the second row. But yeah, I was okay. You know, I got a shirt each week, but just went up. We sort of moved on anyway to Leeds and then picked up coaching.
So, have you had to do all your coaching badges then to get to this level that you're at now?
Yeah, I think as well, being a woman in the sport, I've had to do my badges and I've had to prove myself quite a lot. It was, you know, like I've been coaching now for nearly 22 years. And when I started my coaching, there wasn't such thing as women in rugby league, really, very far and few between, definitely no coaches. So I do feel that I've always had to sort of do everything and more, probably, really. But that's probably my personality anyway. I do like a challenge, and if I'm going to do something, I like to do it right. So I've really enjoyed that sort of the coaching pathway, as you would call it. So I did my level 1, then went on to do my level 2. About 6 or 7 years ago, I did my level 3. And in amongst that, coached everything from grassroots. I've done quite a lot in disability sports, coached national teams, international teams, you know, such as, like, at the moment currently involved in Serbia, coached on the scholarships at Leeds and at Wigan, and predominantly coached in the male game. So, you know, I think a few years back was probably 80% of the Wigan team were youngsters that had been involved and coached with over the years. So really had sort of like a great experience, really, of being able to be involved in young boys, girls, men, women, you know, and really enjoyed it.
Good. So did you say before that there's actually a level 4, Amanda? Is there another level to go?
Yeah, level 4 is it's a degree and it's across all sports. So the good thing about it and what's sort of I'm looking forward to doing it for is because you'll be with other great coaches. Do you know what I mean? So you know, you might be with somebody that coaches badminton or football or cricket, and I'm quite excited about going in and sharing good practice and picking up some different sort of values and, you know, understanding of what makes an athlete. Because I think in any sport, really, it's finding the athlete, isn't it, and a good person, you know. And it doesn't need to be rugby league to be able to grow as a coach. It'd be nice to be in a different environment. Because I think you do. I know when I did my level 3, with some of the players. So like Sean Long, Kieran Cunningham, Jamie Jones, they were all on my level 3. And there was others, but just those 3 stood out. Jamie Jones, just because I just thought he grew. I knew him as a player at Leeds, but I feel his playing career sort of changed as well when he became a coach. And Sean Long, because he just come out with some really, really good points. Things I didn't think of as a coach. You know what I mean? Like you said, the last 10 minutes, you know, that quiet 10 minutes in the change room before you go out, that was his best part of his warm-up.
Yeah, I've read it.
Everything else didn't count. So it's like, you know, that's what I'm looking forward to from level 4, being around different people and learning different things about the sport.
Yeah, I've read Sean Long's book, Amanda. That's a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, like I say, I've only come across him a few times, but when I came across him there on my level 3, really just a really good character, and just I thought he was a real class player. I know, like, when you're at Wigan, it's hard to say it. A lot of people wouldn't have said it, but for me, I think he was a great halfback, very talented.
So was your first coaching gig the one at Wigan Ladies then, where you had the success?
How do you mean? Sorry, like, sorry, I don't understand your question there, really.
Well, you did coach the Wigan Ladies team, didn't you? Was it?
I did, yes.
And didn't you win the grand final?
Yes, yeah. They launched in 2018. They launched the Women's Super League, so they decided to, you know, try and get as many Super League clubs to start on taking on a women's team. So the chairman asked me to take on the women's team at Wigan. And like I said, I have coached women in the past. I've done like GB teachers and England students, and dipped in and out of the England setup a couple of times, just on odd sessions and stuff. So when I was asked to do it, I was quite excited about a different challenge, really. But we didn't have a team. There was no such team, and we just had to go out and create one. And even though rugby league is massive in Wigan, there wasn't a lot of women playing it. St. Pat's had a brilliant setup, and what we didn't want to do is destroy a team to build a team. But most of them being Wigan fans, they were happy to come along and pull on a Wigan shirt. So it's quite nice to be able to give them the opportunity to play for Wigan, really. And yeah, we were the underdogs going in, really, and went on and won the final. It was an absolute amazing experience. Being able to be part of something so big, especially Wigan. It's a big club, isn't it? And it's known worldwide. And to be like, grand finalist and win it, and the men won it the same day as well, and the academy had won it. So all three teams won it in the club. So it was nice to be part of a bit of history. And yeah, great.
Now, you must look upon the sport as all of us who are interested in it do, Amanda, and just look at the progress that's been made in the women's game in 3 years. I mean, the standard is absolutely fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it has really grown, because when I was asked to do it originally, it was quite a scary sort of challenge in one sense, thinking, well, you can only work with the tools that you're given, and it was going out there and actually finding the talent, or to create a team that was able to play, but not knowing whether there was a talent out there. So we pulled in people from all different sports and different areas, and it was a challenge in itself. But to see how much they improved in that season, do you know what I mean? With some of the athletes we picked up, a few of them going on to play for England, which was great. Georgia Wilson wasn't playing rugby league; she was at UCLan at the time as a student and was playing rugby union. She came in as an athlete, I would say, and then went on to play for England. And then just watching somebody like her grow, them individuals have changed so much. For me, Jodie Cunningham, I've only come across her in a couple of rep games. She played for me for Lancashire. She played for me in the regionals competition one time. And I keep in touch with her and just send her the odd message. But for me, somebody like her, you can just see now, just being able to be given, better training facilities, given more regular games and higher competition. She's improved 100%. She was a good player. Now she's a great player now. And I think that is what we have to recognise, is that, given a chance, the girls' game can keep growing. And I just think we just need to keep that momentum going though now, and make sure we just keep supporting it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do watch the occasional women's rugby union game. England have been on the TV recently. They're absolutely awesome, aren't they?
Yeah, I think rugby union, and you can't just say it's just money, but I think, again, like I've just said with Jodie as an example, facility, coaches, resources is, it makes a difference to a player. And I think union were probably ahead of rugby league on that for women. And I think you can see that. And hopefully one day we can look at the rugby league international team and say the same comments, really, because I'm impressed. There's some real athletes within the union game. Yeah.
And of course, the World Cup's going to come up again at the end of next year. Are you involved in anything in that, Amanda?
No, I haven't. Like I said, I've dipped in the odd session for the England stuff, but life's always been so very busy when I was at Wigan to be able to commit to too much, really. I had a full-time role as a sales and marketing executive, and then my coaching on top of it. And I do the stuff in Serbia, so I went across with my husband there and ended up assisting him in the World Cup qualifiers and developing the women and girls game out there as well. Because they've got some really good players. So no, not initially involved with the England squad or anything, but hopefully, just keep going and doing a bit of consultancy with different teams. So I did some some stuff the other week with the Welsh team, the under-17s and the under-16s over in Wales. That was a great experience. They played in a friendly, and that was good. So hopefully just keep sort of helping people out and having an experience through it that way. So
Serbia in the World Cup? I don't think they've...
No, they're in the European qualifying. Yeah, they didn't. I think at the moment it's still developing over there.
Yeah.
And it has developed massively in the time that we've been involved. Not giving all the credit to us, but it has. You know what I mean? They've got some very talented players, but they're growing it from the grassroots level. So the youth stuff they've set up now, so they're bringing them in on a regular basis and getting them local competitions. So hopefully, one day, I think that's their aim, that one day they will be.
Well, I do know that Red Star Belgrade played in the Challenge Cup, didn't it? He played Milan, and I did actually watch the game, and it was very interesting. But there was talk of them joining the Challenge Cup first round next season. Is that going to happen? Do you know? Or?
I'm not sure. We've not been over since COVID, so it's been really awkward, and we were looking to get over again, but obviously things are changing again, aren't they, with flights and stuff at the moment. So disappointing really, because it's something that I really enjoyed, just being in a different sort of culture and the language barrier, and they're just such a passionate nation. And it was honestly unbelievable experience, and just can't wait to go back and get heavily involved in it. But try and we communicate with each other and follow them and everything. But at the moment, just not knowing because not hands on really, which is disappointing. But that's life.
Well, if they've got the mentality of Novak Djokovic, they'll all be winners, won't they?
They will.
Right, Amanda. So let's get to the Barrow Raiders ladies team then. Have you actually seen them play before?
Yeah, I've watched them a couple of times. I've seen bits of clips and stuff through social media. There's quite a few of the girls that I know because they came to Wigan for trials.
All right.
And we had them. They were younger players at the time. A couple of the Milan girls and a couple of locals from Wigan. So they were in the 19s. They didn't make the squad, but they were in our development squad, and they've moved up to Barrow and played there because the Barrow team is made up really of, as a Cumbrian team, I would say. It's a representative sort of team for Cumbria. So they travelled from Milan, and another girl has come from Widnes now, moving over. So it's I've sort of seen them play a few times. I think there's quite a lot of work to do, but you can see that they, the thing about them for me that stood out is their attitude and commitment, and they play with a smile on the face. Which at the end of the day, if they're enjoying it, then there's a chance that you can keep improving them. As a coach, I just look to bring the best out in people, and that's what I'm hoping to do with them. But at the moment, I've been handed a team of, very determined, great attitude and committed players. And, I've got to grow that. I can't just think, well, I've been given that and here we go, girls are going into Super League. It's going to be a different type of challenge, one that they're not, they've not been used to, I would say. And we've got quite a lot of work to do to be able to get to the level we need to. But I'm confident that, the girls we've got with the work in pre-season, that we've got to be given a good chance of getting some sort of results.
Yeah, I mean, they only integrated from Bow Island into the Raiders setup this time last year, really. So this Super League opportunity, do you think it might have come a bit too quick, or is everyone at the club saying, no, come on, let's go for it,
I suppose it depends on which angle you go from, because if you've got a group of girls, it's like myself for me, opportunities have come at various times in my life, sometimes not at the right time. The Wigan women's team probably didn't come at the right time for me. I was in full-time employment with the club, and it meant on taking another role on top of my role. But I love a challenge. And looking at these girls that I've got at the moment, I went and met them last week, just put a session together just before because we're going to have trials in a couple of weeks, but I felt I owed them respect to meet them, and rather than just meet them at trials. You know, they got us to where we are. We wouldn't be in Super League without them. So I felt that it was the right thing to meet them, for them to have a look at what I'm about a little bit. You know, just talked about, you know, skills and stuff like that, and what makes a good player and a good team. And we just had a few small-sided games, just to have a look at what they were like and whereabouts they are in their development. And it was really good, honestly, brilliant. And I just think, you know, if you've got players that are decent people on and off the field, and they've got the right attitude and they're committed, which they really are, I think, you know, you're always gonna be a winner, regardless of the results. And I think that's what we'll do. We're going to give it our best shot. I'll give it my best shot, and I know and believe they will, and hopefully we'll get some results.
Now, I know that Super League's been sort of split into two, which seems quite sensible. I don't think we're at the stage yet where we can beat the St. Helens and the Wigans of this world, but we're in a league with, as you said before, Wakefield, Bradford, Featherstone, Warrington and Lee Miners, who have come up with Barrow. So there's some really tough encounters even in that little group.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Featherstone, that first year we were in the Super League team against Wigan, so I've played those, and the difference for sort of like teams like Featherstone, Bradford, Wakefield, Yorkshire, just the pathways underneath, you know, are really, really strong. You know, there's a conveyor belt of people just coming through. Now, where we are in the moment in Barrow, I'm really impressed with numbers and, you know, the amount of girls that want to play. And that's credit to the club in the fact that they're now attracting girls to rugby league. But just local competitions, school competitions is really strong throughout Yorkshire. And obviously Lee sitting on the edge of Wigan and things, you know, there's local competition, you know, teams and stuff like that. So that's the strength they've got on us at the moment. But, you know, that's something that Barrow will work on. And I think being in the Super League, I think it can only attract more girls. There's such a lot of young girls coming to the club and playing, you know, they meet on a weekly basis just to come and train. So, you know, I feel it's my job to try and get the girls' game and get some young girls playing as well. So hopefully travel and get some competition for them, so that we get the next lot of players coming through. Because yes, it is going to be a really tough competition, because the years of experience in them areas and some of them clubs is massive. But I think, like I said, I think timing for me, it's just we'll get hold of it and we'll make it happen.
I mean, there's only 6 teams in that little mini group there, Amanda. Does that mean you're only going to be playing 5 at home, 5 away, 10 games, or is there going to be more games?
No, they'll do that, and then there'll be some playoffs, and we'll start with the Challenge Cup, obviously. You know, right. Hopefully we'll get a good draw in there to have a bit of a go in the Challenge Cup. So you've got the Challenge Cups, and there's talk of a 9s competition, which I think really great idea. They tried it, didn't they, out in Australia, and I think brilliant idea to do. You know, more ball in the hand, less players, and just good skill and stuff. So I'm quite excited about that. So I think they've worked it out quite nicely. They've sent it through to us to have a look at, and you know, you're talking Challenge Cup fixtures, going into a 9s competition, some friendlies around that time, and then into your league. So it's quite consistent and tight, you know, which is what they need really. So it'll give us a chance to have our trials, select a squad, and you know, get a couple of friendlies in, which I think will be important for us, just so we know where we are a little bit more, and then into the season.
Yeah, I watched a few games last season, Amanda. It was great, really, because there were double headers before the men, and I see there's opportunities here, isn't there? Bradford, Featherstone, for example. Wouldn't it be fantastic if Barrow Ladies were playing Bradford kick-off 12 o'clock, and then 3 hours later the men are playing Bradford in the championship? I mean, there'd be a few thousand watching that one, wouldn't there?
Yeah, and I think, you know, something that I was really impressed with, I went up and watched Barrow Ladies playing Widnes, because I have some of my students are helping coach the Widnes Ladies, so they'd asked if I'd go and watch, so I was just observing them coaching really, and watch the game. And the atmosphere, and I walked in, I couldn't believe I was at a women's game, and that's not being disrespectful to the women's game. But, you know, even at Wigan, a big brand like Wigan, and, you know, audiences are growing, but, you know, it's just creating enough sort of vibe, isn't it, you know, to get a feel for it, and it really does lift the game. But the atmosphere at Barrow was unbelievable. People were turning up, you know, before the game had started for the women's game, and then you had the men's game after. Really good. And I think that's the key to it, really, being able to link the two. And, you know, from a fan point of view, then, you know, fans are getting a double whammy, and, you know, they'll start to enjoy it because, you know, when you talk to people and they watch the game, they think, yeah, we'll go back and watch another women's game. And I think that's a way forward for it, really. It's great for the fans, great for the club, because, you know, you get a good spectacular, you get a day of rugby, don't you, rather than just a few hours. So hopefully that'll happen. I would think the RFL, you know, when planning, I think they know that that's a way forward. So, you know, they're all for growing the game. So I'm sure that they'll do it wisely.
Definitely. Well, there's definitely potential down at Craven Park for that ladies team to really grow, and the support is definitely there. I'm sure that most people who go and watch the men's game will be there to watch Barrow Ladies versus Bradford Ladies match. I'm absolutely positive that'll happen.
Yeah.
So, final questions, Amanda. So what's your realistic ambition then for next season? Is it a case of really consolidation, making sure that we can really establish ourselves in that group, and then build a platform to move up to the St. Helens of this world?
Yeah, for me, as a coach, I'll you know, I always get a feel for the group that I've got. So once we've selected our team, you know, I'll go out and try and select the best team that I feel can, and be confident that can give us our best sort of team to go forward with. Individually, I've always looked at players and want to try and improve each one of them. You know, so a team is made up of good people, good individuals, and talented individuals. I'll just try and bring out the best in each one of those. So that's my aim, you know, to try and bring out the best. And like I said, if each player is the best they can be, the team will be the best it can be, and we'll get the best results we can get. Being the ridiculously competitive person that I am, you know what I mean, that I try and keep realistic to stuff. But if I give it everything I've got, and the girls do, you know, we'll go out and we'll get the best results we can. They'll look after themselves. And I think that's the focus I've always sort of taken into the game for years. I've always looked at it like that. You know, I am a winner. I love to win. But like back in the day when they asked me at Wigan, you know, what my goals were, it was exactly the same. Just make us the best we can be, and the results will look after themselves.
Oh, well, that's absolutely fabulous, Amanda. I'm sure that there will be success down at Craven Park. Let's hope that the men can get a similar success, because the Championship is one tough league, and when you look at the ladies' league as well, that's going to be tough, because you've got teams like Salford and Hull KR now developing ladies' teams, and I saw Sheffield Eagles have also announced that they're bringing into the game a ladies' team. So it's growing fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And like I say, the numbers, I was really impressed. You know, like I put a session on the other day, and there's 30 girls there, you know, 30 ladies. It's a lot. It's good numbers for Barrow, do you know what I mean? And like I say, at the moment, they're coming in from Whitehaven, Workington, Millham. You know, probably regretting taking a few Cumbrians to Wigan and getting them into the Super League, because once you've done that, you know that's where they are at the moment. I'm hoping that some Cumbrians might come home and want to, like myself, come back to the hometown and do it for Cumbria. Do you know what I mean? But we can just keep growing. Like I say, I think, you know, the girls just need to be confident in themselves, improve their own individual ability. But I think, you know, you're looking at a 3, you know, maybe 5 years sort of cycle here. We've got a lot of growth to do in the area as far as the game goes. Yes. And, you know, this year they've just got to be making sure that they're not just in the Super League, that they're actually competing in the Super League, and then just keep ourselves focused on what we're about. You know, St. Helens at the moment are out there, standout favourites, aren't they? And rightly so, because they were outstanding this year. You know, they played very, very well. And, you know, I think everyone's realistic in knowing that that's a long way off. But it's not to say, you know, that one day Barrow Raiders couldn't be there. It's just a lot of work has got to be done. We've just got to get the girls confident in their ability now and just keep improving it.
Are you tempted to get Wigan down for a friendly, Amanda?
It's funny, really, because when I was at Wigan, we tried each year to get a friendly with Barrow, just because of, like I say, the connections, and it never happened. And so I'm thinking, you know, it might not be a bad idea. We might be able to make it happen this year. And it'd be good. I think it'd be good for the girls because, you know, it's always good to be associated with a big brand, you know, like Wigan. And I think it'd be a good experience for them to sort of see, you know, to go in against someone like that. So I think we definitely need to get a couple of friendlies in to get a feel for the game again.
Well, congratulations on your appointment. I hope you all the very best. I'm sure that Barrow Raiders Ladies are going to move onwards and upwards, and everyone's looking forward to next season in Super League. So thanks for coming on CANDO FM, Amanda.
Thank you.